Not every DC superhero became a legend. Some of the company's first creations appeared before Batman and Superman, but then disappeared. A masked detective dropped after only a few issues, a mystical hero forgotten as readers moved on, and a once promising champion left behind when bigger icons rose. These weren't side characters. They were pioneers abandoned by history. So which early DC heroes helped start it all, only to be forgotten? Here are 10 of DC's oldest superheroes who were abandoned. At number 10 is Green Lantern Alan Scott, who first ignited his ring in All-American Comics issue 16 in July 1940. Drawn to a mystical green flame fashioned into a lantern, he charged a ring and rose quickly, headlining a solo Green Lantern title from 1941 to 1949 across 38 issues, and in 1940, helping found the Justice Society before serving as its second chairman. As sales declined after the war, All-American shifted to Westerns. Green Lantern ended with issue 38 in 1949, and Allen's last Justice Society adventure came in All-Star Comics 57 in 1951. A new era arrived in 1959 when Hal Jordan debuted in Showcase 22, a reinvention leaving Allen silent until the multiverse brought him back as Earth 2's Green Lantern in the 1960s. Crisis on Infinite Earths merged timelines. In the 1990s, he used Sentinel, his power tied to the Starheart. Spotlight moved to Hal, John, Guy, and Kyle, while Allen endured as Patriarch of the Legacy. At number 9 is the Flash Jay Garrick, who first raced into Flash Comics issue 1 in January 1940. A college student who gained super speed through a laboratory accident, Jay became instantly recognizable for his winged metal helmet modeled after Mercury. In the 1940s, he was among DC's most celebrated heroes, starring in 104 issues of Flash Comics and headlining All Flash Quarterly from 1941 until 1948. His last major Golden Age adventure came in All-Star Comics 57 in 1951, closing out the Justice Society's original run. After that, Jay vanished as superhero comics declined. In 1956, a new Flash, Barry Allen, debuted in Showcase 4, and for years Jay existed only as a fictional figure within that continuity. But in 1961's Flash 123, the multiverse restored him as Earth 2's Flash, and he returned for annual crossovers. Crisis on Infinite Earths later merged worlds, but Jay survived, rejoining the Justice Society as an elder statesman, carrying the Flash legacy forward. At number 8 is Dr. Fate, Kent Nelson, who first appeared in More Fun Comics 55 in May 1940. As a young archaeologist, Kent uncovered the tomb of the ancient wizard Nabu and gained the Golden Helmet of Fate, transforming him into a master sorcerer and founding member of the Justice Society. His Golden Age run lasted until 1944, closing with More Fun Comics 98, after which his feature was canceled and he disappeared from print for more than 2 decades. In the 1960s, he returned in Justice League and Justice Society crossovers, and in 1975 headlined a solo story in first issue Special 9. Crisis on Infinite Earths merged timelines, and in 1987, Kent and his wife Inza were written out as the mantle passed to successors Eric and Linda Strauss. Later, Hector Hall became Fate, and still later, Khalid Nassour. Kent Nelson, abandoned once in 1944 and again in 1987, was replaced so the Dr. Fate legacy could continue beyond him. The next 3 weren't just forgotten, they carried strange powers, shocking twists, and even one of DC's earliest women heroes all left behind. At number 7 is Hourman Rex Tyler, who debuted in Adventure Comics 48 in April 1940. A chemist who created the Miracle pill, Rex discovered that a single dose granted him superhuman strength and speed for exactly 1 hour, earning him the nickname Tick-Tock Tyler. He quickly joined the Justice Society, appearing in the very first All-Star Comics in 1940. His solo adventures continued in Adventure Comics until issue 83 in 1943, but by then his popularity was fading. He left the Justice Society in All-Star Comics 8 in 1941 and was replaced by Starman, and by 1943, his strip had ended, leaving him absent from later JSA tales. Decades later, he returned in JLA and JSA crossovers as an older hero, but his battles with Miraclo's Toll were a recurring struggle. In 1994's Zero Hour, Extant killed Rex by rapidly aging him to death, closing his story. His son Rick Tyler and even a future android carried the Hourman mantle forward, ensuring the legacy endured. At number 6 is the Spectre, Jim Corrigan, who first appeared in More Fun Comics issue 52 in February 1940. A police detective murdered and returned from the afterlife, Corrigan was bonded with a divine spirit of vengeance and transformed into the Spectre, wielding near limitless ghostly powers. During the Golden Age, he headlined More Fun Comics until 1945, but his stories softened as the decade wore on, with Corrigan's soul placed at peace and the Spectre reduced to a guardian presence before vanishing entirely after More Fun 101. For nearly 20 years, he remained absent, until 1966's Showcase 60 revived him as a terrifyingly powerful Avenger. He returned in crossovers, and by the 1970s, he anchored acclaimed supernatural tales. Crisis on Infinite Earths merged worlds, but Corrigan survived until 1999's Day of Judgment, where his spirit was finally released and the Spectre passed to Hal Jordan. Later, Gotham detective Crispus Allen succeeded him, ending Corrigan's role. The mantle endured, but Jim Corrigan's long tenure was closed forever. At number 5 is Red Tornado Ma Hunkel, who first appeared as a supporting character in All-American Comics 3 in June 1939 and transformed into the Red Tornado in issue 20 in November 1940. A strong and warm-hearted mother, Ma Hunkel created a makeshift costume of long johns and a cooking pot helmet, becoming one of DC's earliest costumed heroines and among the very first female superheroes. Her comedic adventures, often joined by her children known as the Cyclone Kids, ran in All-American Comics until issue 59 in July 1944, when her strip ended quietly without explanation. After disappearing for decades, she was later retconned as an honorary member of the Justice Society, remembered for a cameo at their first gathering. In the Silver Age, DC reused the Red Tornado name for a new android hero in 1968, who became the better-known version. Eventually, Ma returned as an elderly caretaker for the Justice Society's headquarters, while her granddaughter Maxine Hunkel carried her legacy into a new generation. At number 4 is Sandman Wesley Dodds, who debuted in Adventure Comics 40 in July 1939. Wearing a gas mask and business suit and armed with a sleeping gas gun, Dodds was one of DC's earliest mystery men, embodying the pulp style of the late 1930s. In 1941, artist Jack Kirby and writer Joe Simon reimagined him in bright tights and gave him a sidekick named Sandy. But despite the revamp, interest declined after World War II. His solo strip ended by 1946, though he remained with the Justice Society until their title was canceled in 1951. After vanishing for years, he was revived in the 1960s as an Earth 2 veteran during JLA and JSA crossovers. In 1986, he and his teammates were placed in limbo fighting Ragnarok, only to return in 1992. His final story came in 1999, when prophetic dreams led him to sacrifice his life to deny Mordru vital secrets. Sandy Hawkins, once his sidekick, carried the Sandman mantle in his honor, and the final 3 prove even DC's first legends weren't safe. A magician, a masked crime fighter, and a ghostly detective all vanished from history. At number 3 is Zatara, Giovanni John Zatara, who made his debut in Action Comics 1 in June 1938, the same historic issue that introduced Superman. A stage magician who wielded true sorcery by speaking his spells backwards, Zatara quickly became one of DC's earliest magical heroes and entertained readers for more than a decade. His solo adventures ran continuously in Action Comics until 1951, when his strip ended as superhero comics declined in popularity. After that, he vanished from publication, missing the Silver Age revival entirely. In 1964, he was brought back during the storyline known as Zatanna's Search, when his daughter Zatanna began her quest to find him. It was revealed that he had been trapped in another dimension, and together, father and daughter aided the Justice League. Zatara fought alongside Earth's mystics during the Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, and in 1986 he sacrificed his life in battle against a great evil, dying to save his daughter. From then on, his mantle passed to Zatanna, who carried his legacy forward. At number 2 is the Crimson Avenger, Lee Travis, who made his debut in Detective Comics 20 in October 1938, becoming DC's very first masked hero even before Batman. In his earliest stories, he wore a red trench coat, fedora, and domino mask while wielding a gas gun against criminals. By 1940, he adopted a bright red and yellow superhero costume to reflect the era's growing taste for costumed adventurers. He starred in Detective Comics until issue 89 in 1944 and also fought alongside the Seven Soldiers of Victory in leading comics. When superhero popularity faded after the war, his strip was canceled and Lee Travis disappeared from publication. He was later retconned as an Earth 2 hero and remembered as one of the mystery men of the 1940s. In 1981, in the story Whatever Happened to the Crimson Avenger, an elderly and terminally ill Lee donned his costume one last time and sacrificed himself to stop a deadly explosion. His mantle lay dormant until a new Crimson Avenger emerged decades later. At number 1 is Dr. Occult, who made his first appearance in New Fun Comics 6 in October 1935, making him the earliest DC superhero character still recognized today. Created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, he was introduced as an occult detective, known as the Ghost Detective, investigating mysteries with a supernatural edge. His strip ran through the pages of New Fun and More Fun Comics until 1938, ending the very same year Superman debuted, as Siegel and Shuster shifted their attention to their groundbreaking new creation. After vanishing from print, Dr. Occult was retroactively placed into World War II continuity years later, with stories establishing that he had been magically trapped until freed in 1942 to serve with the All-Star Squadron. He resurfaced in Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, standing with Earth's mystics against the Anti-Monitor. His history was fully explored in 1987's Secret Origins, confirming his path to power. Unlike many Golden Age heroes, he was never replaced by a successor, but instead quietly endured as a timeless mystical figure in later stories. These forgotten heroes built DC's foundation, then vanished. Which one deserves a comeback? Comment below and press the subscribe and bell icon for more hidden comic history.